Okay, we are live. So, Sam, in honor of your re-entry into the world of Agile Fashists, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yes. Yes. Well, just actually like at Christmas, I was thinking about, I've got these like 3 or 4 days off, and I might just drop in at the end of the week, and then I was just like, I just gonna completely check out, and so yeah, I took the full week off, and sort of didn't look at Slack or email on my phone at all, and that was I think the right thing to do. The main things that I got done were continuing to work on this book, which I'm now starting to call. Agile methods for open source projects, and just sort of lots of thinking. Getting back into it. It's what's going on. I'm just going through my backlog this morning and looking at everything. We've got. I was planning to have the marketing meeting as we usually do after this today and tomorrow, assuming folks are around. And then I've got Dree catch up in the afternoon, and then also we've got the Agile Book Club. So that exciting stuff. I've got a big meeting at FutureLearn tomorrow. Also seeing lots of hack hands and code mentor stuff. Yeah. What I am doing is the fact that the Slack ping worked means I've now deployed the new Agile bot code, which includes the updated mappings between channels and projects. So potentially, if it works when you next start an SHF Scrum or a Redeemify Scrum or what have you, then it hopefully will ping the channel. But we will wait and see. So fingers crossed that works. And I'm just trying to get back into it and see what's going on. Really.
Re-entry. Yep. Great. Thank you. Thanks for that. So, Michael, I think you were next.
Yeah. So I finished up initial work on that thing I'd opened last weekend, or started looking into last weekend, which is that the footer on the local support Hera Community Network is crappy on mobile. And I submitted a pull request to make mobile great again.
Excellent.
And that's in the wings for Sam to look at.
Cool.
Okay, sounds good. Paul, would you like to go? How are you doing?
So nothing at the moment. So finished that, or you did that pull request, or merged that one for the research jobs. So I'm looking for another story now to go with.
Okay. Do you want to talk about that after the Scrum then, a little bit?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I think we got some stories queued up. Okay, great. So for myself, on MetPlus, I reviewed a lot of stories over the weekend. I merged 7 or 8. I think I merged 3 just this morning. So Segu seems to have a small cottage industry going where he's bringing his students and coaching them through stories on MetPlus, which is great. So he's pairing up with at least 3 of his students, I think, and I've seen stories come through. So that's good to see that. And of course, when you review PRs, you realize that there's something missing, or there's an additional thing that he's been on, or a bug that needs. So I've created a bunch of PRs, created a few stories based upon review of PRs. That's how that happens, it seems. SHF, we had a team meeting on Friday with Ashley and Susanna, and we're hoping that Susanna wasn't affected by that dreadful Swedish terrorist incident. I'm kidding. And we have a client meeting tomorrow. Today on MedPlus, I'll be reviewing a bunch of stories. Laura's got, I think, about a half a dozen UI stories queued up to implement her new design. So I need to look at those and just move them over to the ready column. And on Wiki Ed, we have a sprint review and planning meeting this afternoon. So I'll work on that. And that's it for me. So that's it for Scrum. Anybody else have anything we should talk about right now or want to bring up?
No.
I guess. I've got. So Sage was in contact last week. And I need to follow up with him, but he says he's chatted to you, Pat, and yeah, it seems like that's all good to go. So I think we just need to get the push the button. So I need to go on.
What is this in relation to?
This is Wikimedia having got a approval for a grant to pay for project management for the Wiki EDU dashboard thing.
So you have to tell them how to pay you?
Yeah, so I think that the last thing is they're just checking, can they send me a check in USD, which is like, oh, anyway, I think I just need to establish the correct.
You should make sure that you find the best deal on converting dollars to pounds, because some banks have a little.
Indeed. Yeah, I have.
My bank is pretty good at it, but some banks kind of screw people over on.
They do. I have a thing set up that I will anyway. But I think I just need to do that and give that information to Sage, and then hopefully we can start going. So that's exciting and fun. I guess as my memory connected back up with the last Friday, I had these meetings. Maybe I would talk about the scrums with different charities. And the interesting thing for me on Friday was talking to this guy, Dan Burke, who's from the youth foundation in Harrow, and talking about, he's saying how what all the charities that he knows have to do is that there's this big reporting to funders process. And this is something I hadn't really, they're all using different pieces of software. Like some people are just using Excel spreadsheets, but there's open source software, there's very expensive paid stuff, but it's all about tracking how the money that you get in grants is spent to help vulnerable people, and then how that data is sort of sent back up to the people for reporting. So there's this, in any situation where the whole raison d'etre of local support is to kind of get people to update their data on the site, which they've kind of fairly much not done, however easy we've made it for them to do it. People will, generally do stuff that, or they will focus on doing the stuff they're legally required to do and the stuff that they're required to do to get money. And so what we were starting to brainstorm about is, if we could, rather than creating additional sites to get people to put data into, he's got a big grant, which has already been, a lot of the money's going to some company called Big Fish or something, that the Harrow Council is spending on to build this app to try to help deprived youth in the Harrow area. The challenge they've got is are the people who provide services for young people in the Harrow area going to update their information? And so we're talking about, rather than having them have to re-enter it somewhere else, if we could somehow connect to the places where they're already entering information for their funders, then that kind of would be a big success. So he's hopefully going to invite me to the meeting of this next consortium. I mean, we'll see. I mean, my angle at the moment is I've got to earn some money to pay for life. But there are exciting, there's interesting ideas here about really connecting with charities and understanding the needs of charities, which I think is what we're ultimately all about. How are things going in Met Plus? I guess, is Chet still kind of, he's obviously, they had a bereavement, and he's at, or is there progress towards something for Met Plus in terms of a release or what have you, Pat?
Yeah, our last client meeting was it last week? Anyway, he did provide some resumes and some job descriptions to us, and he has been trying to train the cruncher on it.
No, great.
With I think he's experimenting, so this is really the first time he's exercising it. So with some success, I would say, and some misses, of course. So the intent is to get our Heroku environment set up with seeded data so that you can at least start playing with it by the end of this week.
Great.
In fact, I put a PR, merged a PR to allow for seeding in the Heroku environment to allow that. So we are making progress.
Great. Oh, that's great to hear. Good show. Yeah.
Yep. And he's ready to go. He wants to use it, and he's told us he'll start out, and then he'll have a couple of employers and a couple of agency people join him in using it downstream.
Great.
So I think we'll get there.
Oh, good show. Oh, one other thing is that, well, we'll see where it is. So I don't know if people remember that discussion that was possibly in the random channel about people being on hire as mentors to help each other. Do people remember? I think it was like Black Rat Dog or somebody posted. So I don't know. Then this person, Natalia, was saying, that she would pay for that, and that prompted me to sign up for Code Mentor and HackHand and so on. So anyway, I'm potentially going to be talking to her this week. If people are interested in being paid for mentoring on potentially closed source stuff, then let me know. I guess she's in an interesting situation that she's like, I think there are a few people like this who they're in their kind of maybe first year of a job doing Rails stuff, and they maybe, I don't know, don't feel that they can reach out to get help and support from maybe there's not many other developers around them, and they're looking for help, but very specifically on the code base that they're working on. I don't think we can realistically compete with HackHands and CodeMentor and so on, although I'll be interested to find out more about how they work. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's good to keep exploring different ways of bringing revenue into agile ventures.
Yeah, good. All right. Just one other thing on the WikiEd thing. So my intent is to start today. Sage and I talked last week.
Oh, okay, great.
I sent him an outline of how I'd like to structure it, which is similar to what you broke down, but slightly different. I'll send you that. I'll send you a PDF of that doc.
Okay, that's the plan for like scrums and retro.
And how the hours will be consumed.
Okay.
I think I'm planning for 4 sprints. You had 5. Anyway, you'll see a little bit of difference.
Wonderful. Yeah, you send me that. That'll be great. Yeah.
Yep. So I think we're good on that too.
So the other thing I want to mention, Sam, is that Rose was suggesting last Friday that her Spock is wrong.
Okay.
Look in the Beta Sasser's channel.
Okay. Yes.
That the link to the code that the assignment distributes to the students is outdated. It needs to be made great again.
Okay, I will make it great again. Thanks for drawing my attention to that, Michael. And thanks for your pull request, which I merged. Lara is here. Hey, Lara.
Hey, Laura. Must have had a client call earlier. Laura, we can't hear you. Sure, but be back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to break and get the tea and bagels, and I'll basically be starting the marketing meeting in about 15 minutes. So anybody wants to catch up with how the marketing's going.
What time is the podcast?
That is going to be in 5.25 hours from now.
And then it's like just the next 2 chapters, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
it's like chapters 4 and 5, I think.
Yeah, I think I've got them attached in the. They were on the. Yeah. Hey, Lara.
Hey, can you hear me now?
We can.
Oh, fantastic. Welcome back, Sam. Sorry I'm late. I just got back from a client. Just from my side, I finished setting up my laptop with Ubuntu and getting MedPlus back up and running on it.
Oh, good.
I finished up on the Agile Ventures Google AdWords, going through that and setting them up, plus setting up experiment ads, which we'll go through in the marketing meeting. We also completed the social media plan for March for Agile Ventures, which we'll also go through in the marketing meeting. Other than that, no blockers from me.
Oh, great. Thanks, Laura. Yeah. Well, that was it for Scrum. Everybody else gave their updates, of course, earlier. So at this point, unless anything else we need to connect up on, we can call it a call. And Paul, you and I will hang out, I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
See you folks in the marketing meeting.
See you in the marketing meeting. Sam.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Cheers.
So, Paul, let's look at stories then.
Okay.
We'll go ahead and.
Do you want me to share mine?
Well, I can go ahead and share my screen. If that's okay.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Sharing at this point. Let's go look at Update Waffle. That's taking longer than it should. Okay, so let's see. In terms of ready stories, so there's this one that I just added.
Needed attribute for job application.
Yeah, this particular one is not that complex, but there may be some nuances there that I don't fully understand. But anyway, in the job application model, there's this thing called attribute. It sets up this attribute, excuse me, called job developer. But because job developer is not actually in a field in the database for job application, it uses attribute accessor just to create an instance variable called job developer. And it doesn't store, that's not part of the model. It's not stored in the database. There's no foreign ID for job developer for a job application in the database. So this is just an ephemeral thing associated with an instance of job application. It goes away when job application is destroyed.
Yeah.
So what I had asked to do, which I was working on a story having to do with job application. And there was another attribute that was also set up in a similar way on the same line as attribute accessor. There was a comma and then something else. That something else was removed in her story because we actually moved that to an attribute in the database. So we already have that attribute coming from the schema. And I also asked her just to remove the whole line because this job developer was not being used in production. Well, what happened when she did that was some tests failed. So we don't need it for production code. Some tests are using this attribute, which they don't need. Those tests can be restructured to not need this attribute. So this story is to remove that attribute. And I think they're the event model specs. So the event spec.rb. So there's that. I gave it a 2, just in case there's more complexity than I thought. And one has to restructure 2 or 3 tests, if you will, in the event model.
Okay.
So there's that one. This one here, back button and show view. Okay, so if you are on the jobs index view, I think you're familiar with that view. Yeah.
I am.
So if you hit, let's see, I should go to.
Is that still a sign on?
Let's see. The button is hardwired to send the user. Okay, that's correct. So if you're in the job show view, in fact, let me change make that clear in the title. So if I'm looking at the job show view, in fact, can I still do that? Do I still
show view?
Yeah. Let me just see if I still have that up and running. I must have killed it. Okay. Sorry about that. I should have prepared for this. So I do have Rails still running. Let's go to sure if I still have that branch running. Let me log in as a jobs design.
Yeah. That was Lara's work.
Yes, it was, absolutely.
Yeah, really.
Okay. Sorry, I don't have the right branch pulled. Anyway, actually, this is illustrative because if I just merged this earlier, I believe. So if you're in a job seeker and you're in your home page, and you click on global account, let's say one of these jobs. Actually, I can reproduce it here. Yeah, this will show it. So here, if I hit the back button, I would expect to go back to my home page, right?
Yeah.
My job developer homepage. But if I click it here, I actually just go back to the jobs index view.
Right.
So I'm in my home page. I click to show a job, and I click back. I end up here. I should end up with my home page. And so what is happening is, let's see, jobs show. So if you can see this, where the back button is defined, you can see it's linking to jobs path. So it goes back to the jobs index view every time. And what it really should do is it should go to refer, or failing that, default to the jobs index view. Let me see if I can find an example of how that works. How is refer? Oops. I was referring back. I was searching in all the wrong places and all the wrong phases. So here's an example. So here, well, anyway, Let me go back. Redirect to, yeah, here's a perfect example. So here, this is saying go to the request. The refer is the page I came from, if it's present. So it could be that I just typed in a URL directly and it didn't come from a page.
Yeah.
And if not, go back to, yeah, exactly. You get it. So that's essentially what's going on with that story, which I just opened up this morning based upon review of another PR. So there's that.
Okay. Yep.
I think that's fairly straightforward. I gave it a 1. There's a bunch of tests for Cruncher service. So I'm trying to get test coverage up, and there are these Cruncher service methods, and I cut and pasted the coverage report from Code Climate here. So you can see the stuff that it's in red, it doesn't like. It's saying that's not tested. So here, there's a situation where we actually raise an exception. Essentially, we're trying to reauthorize ourselves twice, and if we can't, we raise an exception. So that's not tested. The other one is, in this method, there's some logic here that's not being tested as well. It's actually associated with the reauthorization attempt. And update job has these. So anyway, we'd have to go through the logic of each of these. These are all similar, actually. It's the same clause associated with reattempting authorization for a lot of these. So that's a test enhancement. User redirect to job seeker index page. What is that one? Oh, that's something that we actually may not even have. I don't think I'd look at that now. This is something that Sam found in September. It was a bug when he was doing a UX review for us. I think that may be gone away because we refactored around that. Admin job property. So this is, Arun presumably has that. So I'm going to move that over to in progress. Add test for email validator. Let me see that one. Again, another piece of logic that's not tested according to Code Climate. So one would have to create the test to test that. So I don't know what you're interested in. Maybe certainly this one would be useful.
Just start from the top then.
Top down. Okay. Let's see. And you've got some stories that you created. Let's see. Do you remember?
Yeah. Did you take a look at them? They were added to the form.
Here's one of them. Yeah.
544.
Yeah, this is exactly correct, I think. I'm holding off on this because we want to review. Now that I got to get together with Laura, so now that you've got your PR merged, I want to do a review of what goes in the footer and finalize that. And one of the things that is a candidate, of course, is to list my company's jobs. So there's that. And this one here, you already did. Job status column to search jobs list?
Yes, that's right. No, that's not in the search form. So I've made it a...
Oh, I see. Yeah. Yes, that's right. That's right. That was it. Okay. Yep. All right.
Okay. Well,
that's a good one. That's a good one, actually.
Yeah. I've upgraded.
Tell you what, I'm going to go.
Review 2.3.3.
Oh, good.
That's what I'm meant to do, isn't it?
What's that? What was that last one?
That was what I was meant to do.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Because
Net Plus channel.
Absolutely. This is when you've merged the latest, of course, so it's coming in with 2.3.3 specified in the gem file. So yeah, your local environment has to do that.
Okay.
Yep. On this one here, yeah. Okay, so I'm going to actually, why don't we just give this a size of 2, Paul? It's tough to get a quorum together, so I'm just kind of winging it on these days. And to be honest, this is just a rough estimate of level of effort. We're not using these numbers to project what we can do per sprint because we have a team that ebbs and flows, right?
Right.
So I'm going to go ahead and move that over to ready if somebody wants to take that as well. That's an interesting one. It's kind of a 2+ because I think you got to fiddle with the searching and all of that stuff. You have to update the.
Yeah. I was thinking maybe you'd just have a checkbox or something to include revoked jobs or not.
Well, it's not just revoked.
Like a rubber state started.
Yeah, in fact, let me show you something you might be interested in seeing. Let me go back to, let's see, where am I? Okay. Which one is this? Add tests for show all status values. Yeah, that's it. So let's take a look at that. So Hinesh just completed the story where we, you were not showing active status, and I understand why you didn't do that, but yeah, because that's the default, and it might be clutter. But
yeah.
I thought, well, let's just go ahead and do that. So you can see we're showing active. We're also color coding green for active, of course. Yellow, I believe, is filled, and red is revoked. And we can, of course, we can
sort on that. Yeah.
We can do that. Yeah. So let me see. If you can hold on just a second, let me show you that. Let's see. Let's go in as a company contact. Let's go to some jobs here. Let's revoke that one. Let's go back and go to another job, and let's accept this one. Okay, so now let's go to jobs, and if I click on status, I can see I've got one revoked now and one filled. Yeah. So I think that looks kind of nice. Yeah.
That's sort of moved on really well, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. I think the background color really brings it to everybody's attention, and I don't think status. He made that a small font. It's not cluttery, which would have been my concern as well, as evidently was yours. It doesn't look cluttered at all. It looks actually quite nice.
No.
And so, in good shape there. So I just want to show you where your story is now gone in helping us improve things. Yeah, yeah, it looks real good.
Yeah. All right. So, well, look, I'll take on that first one. Was it the remove the attribute, the unneeded attribute?
Yep, remove that attribute, and then find the stories that break in our spec. I think they're all event model stories, I believe. But
right.
Don't take my word for it. And then just refactor those stories accordingly.
Yeah.
The test, the event management, the event model itself. I looked at the code. It does not use that attribute, nor should it. Right. It's just the test use it as a convenience to tack on data that's useful in the test logic.
Yeah.
So, which we shouldn't do, right? So.
Okay. Brilliant.
Yeah. That's actually a much more sizable, small size story than the monster that you completed earlier. So it might be a good break from wrestling with a gorilla. Exactly.
Well, it just seemed to grow arms and legs. And, I understand. Yeah, I appreciate what you were saying about stick to the story and don't sort of extend it too far. But anyway,
I do that all the time when I'm working on a story, especially a sizable one. I think, oh, there's this adjacent thing that really ought to be done too. While I'm here, why don't I? And I realize, stop. Write a story, and move on. Yeah, that was good. It came out very successfully though. So I like it much better than what we had before.
Yeah, so much more useful.
Absolutely. All right, Paul. Sounds good.
Okay. Thanks, Patrick.
All right. Well, we'll talk again soon. And
okay. Talk to you soon.
All right. Take care.
Okay.
Bye now.
Bye.